Josh and Sarah, several of our colleagues have spoken with Summer's mother off camera. She's even provided videos and photos of her daughter. But tonight, for the first time, she shares her account of what happened the night her daughter went missing, and like her husband, that she believes her 5-year-old girl was taken.
We really miss her very much. She was the angel of blessing. The love of our lives. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candace Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody is hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it smothers me.
As the almost 2-week-long search through the rough terrain scales back, Summer's parents say they believe someone took their daughter.
Personally, I think someone came up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so,
and
too.
threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could from this area.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or out this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30 in the evening on June 15th, her father called to report her missing, but he wasn't home yet from work.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Summer has 3 older brothers.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
Her parents say she loves princesses, especially the movie Frozen, and to be outside.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl. And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl till my arm got tired.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
Now, authorities are looking for the driver of a red Toyota Tacoma that was in the area around the time Summer went missing, and stressing that this person is a potential witness.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
No one has been named a suspect, and authorities have not ruled Summer's disappearance as an abduction. But tonight, her parents have one plea.
Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back.
Please bring her back home.
Slowly come home, please.
We miss her so much. Her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying.
Well, for the last few days, we have referred to Candace's mother as Candace Wells because that's what she went by on Facebook. But tonight she told me that her name is Candace Bly, and Bly is her maiden name.
2 weeks tomorrow, since we were told she called authorities. And you mentioned she's really been reluctant to be interviewed until tonight. What do you think it was that changed that made her want to go and talk to you tonight?
I have spoken with her several times via social media. She actually ended up messaging my professional Facebook account. We have talked a few times there, and today I went up and was able to introduce myself to her. And she told me that she'd been reluctant just because of all of the backlash on social media. She said that she'd been reading the comments, but after speaking to her a couple of times this evening, she said that she was finally ready for people to hear her side of the story.
And you had a chance to ask what I'm sure a lot of people were wondering about, why Summer's hair was so short, and both Summer's mother and father had comments about that.
They both told me that she had already cut her hair. They said it's something most little girls do. They get a hold of the scissors and already cut her hair, and that they just decided to go ahead and shave it all off. It was just a little bit too difficult, is what they told me, to go ahead and style it that way. Her mother did tell me that she shaved her head as well to make Summer feel more comfortable, but that was why they told me her hair was a lot shorter than originally pictured.
Ainsley Daniel, something that a lot of us have been waiting for hearing from Summer Wells's mother. It's something that we all wanted to hear, and you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. And tonight, like I said, both of them had their plea. They wanted, who they say believe took their daughter, they wanted her to come home. They just want that person to bring her home.
All right, Ainsley, thank you.
And you can watch more of Ainsley's interview online at WJHL.com. You can also follow the search for Summer Wells there as well. We want to mention this again. TBI says they're looking for a potential witness, not a suspect, but a witness. That person could be the driver of a Toyota pickup truck that was spotted around Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening, June 14th or June 15th. The truck is possibly a red or maroon Toyota Tacoma, around 1998 to 2000. It has a full bed ladder truck with white buckets in the bed.
Today, the reward fund for Summer has been finalized. Incident Commander Tim Coop said anybody can contribute. Visit any Civis Bank branch to put money into the Churchill Rescue Squad Summer Wells reward account. If no tips lead to the little girl, the money will stay there for 6 months and then be donated to the Children's Advocacy Center.
If you know anything about the location or the disappearance of Summer Wells, even if it's just a little bit of
Josh and Sarah, several of our colleagues have spoken with Summer's mother off camera. She's even provided videos and photos of her daughter. But tonight, for the first time, she shares her account of what happened the night her daughter went missing, and like her husband, that she believes her 5-year-old girl was taken.
We really miss her very much. She was the angel of blessing. The love of our lives. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candace Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody is hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it smothers me.
As the almost 2-week-long search through the rough terrain scales back, Summer's parents say they believe someone took their daughter.
Personally, I think someone came up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so,
and
too.
threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could from this area.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30 in the evening on June 15th, her father called to report her missing, but he wasn't home yet from work.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she had a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch. And I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was. And they said, She went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Summer has 3 older brothers.
They get out of line, she'd put them in line.
Her parents say she loves princesses, especially the movie Frozen, and to be outside.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl." And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl till my arm got tired.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
Now, authorities are looking for the driver of a red Toyota Tacoma that was in the area around the time Summer went missing, and stressing that this person is a potential witness.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
No one has been named a suspect, and authorities have not ruled Summer's disappearance as an abduction. But tonight, her parents have one plea.
Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back.
Please bring her back home.
Slowly come home, please.
We miss her so much. Her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying.
Well, for the last few days, we have referred to Candace's mother as Candace Wells because that's what she went by on Facebook. But tonight she told me that her name is Candace Bly, and Bly is her maiden name.
2 weeks tomorrow, since we are told she called authorities, and you mentioned she's really been reluctant to be interviewed until tonight. What do you think it was that changed that made her want to go and talk to you tonight?
I have spoken with her several times via social media. She actually ended up messaging my professional Facebook account. We have talked a few times there, and today I went up and was able to introduce myself to her. And she told me that she'd been reluctant just because of all of the backlash on social media. She said that she'd been reading the comments, but after speaking with her a couple of times this evening, she said that she was finally ready for people to hear her side of the story.
And you had a chance to ask what I'm sure a lot of people were wondering about, why Summer's hair was so short, and both Summer's mother and father had comments about that.
They both told me that she had already cut her hair. They said it's something most little girls do. They get a hold of the scissors and already cut her hair, and that they just decided to go ahead and shave it all off. It was just a little bit too difficult, is what they told me, to go ahead and style it that way. Her mother did tell me that she shaved her head as well to make Summer feel more comfortable, but that was why they told me her hair was a lot shorter than originally pictured.
Ainsley Daniel, something that a lot of us have been waiting for hearing from Summer Wells's mother. It's something that we all wanted to hear, and you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. And tonight, like I said, both of them had their plea. They wanted, who they say believe took their daughter, they wanted her to come home. They just want that person to bring her home.
All right, Ainsley, thank you.
And you can watch more of Ainsley's interview online at WJHL.com. You can also follow the search for Summer Wells there as well. We want to mention this again. TBI says they're looking for a potential witness, not a suspect, but a witness. That person could be the driver of a Toyota pickup truck that was spotted around Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening, June 14th or June 15th. The truck is possibly a red or maroon Toyota Tacoma around 1998 to 2000. It has a full bed ladder truck with white buckets in the bed.
Today, the reward fund for Summer has been finalized. Incident Commander Tim Coop said anybody can contribute. Visit any Civus Bank branch to put money into the Churchill Rescue Squad Summer Wells reward account. If no tips lead to the little girl, the money will stay there for 6 months and then be donated to the Children's Advocacy Center.
If you know anything about the location or the disappearance of Summer Wells, even if it's just a little bit of
Just joining us, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're continuing to follow the search for Summer Wells, the Hawkins County 5-year-old who disappeared Tuesday night. This weekend, the search effort stretched far beyond the TBI and Hawkins County resources. Bianca Murray is live in the Beech Creek community where she's been following the efforts for today. Bianca, who else is helping in the search and what's the latest out there?
Kelly, night 6 in the search for Summer Wells just wrapped up around 8 o'clock tonight. Crews from over 70 agencies have gathered here in the Beech Creek community to look for the little girl. But what exactly happened to Summer Wells still remains a mystery. As of this afternoon, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation received 137 tips about Summer's whereabouts, with crews combing through thick vegetation, scaling steep hills, having search dogs follow trails, and even diving in creeks and ponds surrounding the Wells home on Ben Hill Road, the area from which Summer disappeared. Her father tells me that last night search crews followed up on a lead near their house with dogs, flashlights, and even a helicopter.
Well, the helicopter was flying till 4 in the morning, and we was hopeful that they had some kind of lead or something like that. So we was up till 4 in the morning watching, and you know, but nothing, haven't come up with anything.
Authorities say they will continue to search for Summer from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. daily until they find her, unless they receive a tip, at which point they will go back out and continue their search efforts, which was what they did last night. Ground crews were out until 1 a.m. following that lead last night. But at this point, Kelly, Summer's father believes that she is no longer in the forest here behind me in the Beech Creek community. He believes that she has been abducted. Now, we will continue to keep up with law enforcement to see what their progress is on the investigation. Live from the Beech Creek community, I'm Bianca Murray for News Channel 11.
We're starting to get a clearer picture of the difficulties facing authorities as they wrap up a second day of searching for 5-year-old Summer Wells in Hawkins County. I'm Josh Smith.
I'm Sarah Diamond. Thanks for joining us on News Channel 11 at 6. Here's a timeline of the events and what has happened so far. Summer Wells was reported missing by a family member around 6:30 Tuesday evening. More than 100 people from 19 agencies have been searching since then in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County. An endangered child alert was issued on Tuesday night. That escalated to an Amber Alert yesterday morning.
Ansley Daniels been following this story today. She's live near the scene of the search with the latest from investigators.
Josh and Sarah, law enforcement, K-9 units, search and rescue, as well as air crews are heading into the 48th hour of the search for little Summer Wells with no sign of her just yet. Now, so far, law enforcement has received about 50 tips, but none of those have panned out. About 100 people have been searching since 8 a.m. this morning across 19 different agencies with drones, helicopters, and K-9 units, as well as additional crews on standby in Middle Tennessee. Earlier today, the incident commander of Ground Search stressed how wooded the area is and how tough the terrain is.
Some of the issues we're encountering with the search is the steep and dangerous terrain. With this steep and dangerous terrain, we're also experiencing, as you see behind us, very dense canopy coverage, including very dense ground cover, causing search efforts to become very difficult, taking extra time to cover these areas adequately, exhausting teams a lot quicker, in turn causing longer for these grounds to be covered.
Earlier, law enforcement addressed how many people are asking to come assist in this search. Now, they have asked that people stay home because of how tough this terrain is, as law enforcement and other search crews are already having a difficult time searching themselves. They also are asking people to continue to share the image of Summer, and they're asking people to continue to only share credible information. Also, crews are planning on wrapping up their search tonight at 8 p.m. Once it gets dark, they say that that's the best time for them to wrap things up so things don't get any worse than what they already are. Live in the Beech Creek community, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
If you have any information that could help find Summer Wells, call 1-800-TBI-FIND or email tips@tbi.tn.gov.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, as Ansley just said, did ask people to only share information from credible sources, sharing speculation, sharing rumors, which are rampant on social media often in cases like this, can provide more difficulty for law enforcement because it increases the number of non-credible tips.
Today I'm going to show you
Earhart.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The status is the same as it was on Monday when we last held a media briefing. We're still trying to find Summer. It's now been 1 week and 2 days since she went missing. There's still two aspects of this case, the active search and the investigation. You'll hear more about the search in just a minute. TBI agents and Hawkins County detectives working alongside the FBI continue to work around the clock to determine what happened to Summer Wells. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we can't discuss everything we're doing and have done to find Summer. Here's what we can tell you. Numerous residents and individuals associated with the family have been interviewed. Surveillance video and photos have been reviewed, as well as other potential digital evidence. We're still working to identify everyone in the area on the afternoon that Summer went missing. One of you asked us in a previous briefing the standard amount of time it takes for a case like this to be resolved. While every case is different, this one is definitely outside of the norm. Typically, in an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. In this situation, despite doing everything within our power and exploring all avenues, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear. I understand the lack of answers frustrates you in the public, but trust me, no one is more frustrated than we are. If we develop information that will lead to locating Summer, we will share that with you first and foremost. In the meantime, we ask anyone with information who hasn't come forward to please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. I'll turn it over to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
Thank you. Just to go along with Leslie, I know there's a lot of social media going on out there, a lot of detectives going on, but they're absolutely useless unless these people that's 100% positive calls 1-800-TBI-FIND. That means nothing. We're monitoring all social media and everything that you all put out from people that you all interview. And I assure you, you'd have to work very hard to find somebody that we hadn't talked to. They may not tell you. One point I want to make and clear up, obviously, is a couple of days ago, I asked for the public not to help us in our search in the woods and stuff. That is because we know where every searcher is, where every team is, and the captain and his staff, they're tracking everyone. So if we get the general public in the woods, we don't know about it, and they're going to get missed when they go home or don't go home. So it's going to be somebody else that we have to generate time and information and resources to find. What I did ask for, and I still need, is all the people in Upper Beech Creek, in Hawkins and Sullivan County, to search their property again and again. You got to look for a small child. You have to look for evidence of a small child's been. And if you got field cameras, if you got security cameras, we need you to check those again. Just keep checking them and checking them. We're trying to find every vehicle is in this holler they're living since we started this. And we also did a roadblock, which helped at the same time that she was reported missing, to see if we come in contact with somebody that's been working that we could see. Obviously, there's nothing came out of that, but it's just another tool that we've used to make this happen. So if the general public that lives in this area will go back and search their outbuildings, their barns, their hay fields, now it's mowing season, so when they mow, they need to pay attention. And if you have a resident that cannot search their property themselves, if they'll call my office at 423-272-4848, I will send an officer to your residence to search your property for you. It's a cooperation that we must need. I know some of the residents probably getting frustrated with seeing the officers, but as the captain will tell you, we've had very intense operations all week long for 9 days now. And we're not done yet because, like I told you from day one, it's about finding Summer. That's the number one goal here. Yep.
Thanks, Sheriff. As of June 24th, 2021, search and rescue efforts for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells continues. We have now utilized 106 agencies spanning from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina assisting in these search efforts. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups with numerous canine teams have been represented from each of these agencies. To date, we have covered over 4.6 square miles, with that being over 3,000 acres being searched since Tuesday night when she was reported missing. The rugged mountainous terrain continues to cause problems. This has slowed search operations down in these areas, but please be rest assured, while incurring these conditions, we are still searching with an aggressive approach with extreme attention to detail. These terrains and conditions have exhausted crews both physically and mentally. We are still utilizing local and regional resources, but have had to call upon and utilize resources from Middle and West Tennessee, along with out-of-state resources, to bring a fresh set of eyes and rested bodies into the search operations. Search efforts will continue on a more specialized team basis throughout the rest of the week. Just because you may not see us in such a large presence, once again, rest assured, we are still out here searching for Summer Wells. We will continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, TBI, and FBI until we find Summer Wells. As mentioned before, as Sheriff here mentioned, please continue to search your personal property. Sullivan County, Hawkins County, mainly the Beech Creek community, and even if you branch a little bit further, please search. And I've been telling these searchers here the last several days, when you're looking for this property, you're not looking for an adult laying there. You're not looking for an adult hiding in the building. We're looking for a 5-year-old girl that weighed approximately 40 pounds. Somebody that size could wad up, could hide in an area that a legal size piece of paper or a folded up laptop could go. This is also the reason why we are exhausting all efforts. This terrain, as you can see behind us, guys, is only a small, very small percentage of what these guys day in and day out are going through. I've had multiple of my guys come up to me and tell me, Captain, I'll go to the end, but I'm tired. I'm physically and I'm mentally tired. We are all one team, and we will not quit until we find Summer Wells. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions.
Have you searched some of these areas over and over again numerous times in these fields and things like that?
Absolutely. Captain, can you answer that question?
Yes, so over these 4.6 square miles, and I'll kind of elaborate on some of these specialized teams. There's some of these areas, guys, we have covered 4, 5, and 6 times. And we have community members, media outlets reaching out going, well, we have neighbors saying you're covering the same ground. We are. New ground, same ground, different eyes, fresh bodies. Guys, one flat looking field, there's 100 places something could be hid, evidence, and or she could be hid. So yes, we have covered multiple ground multiple times, and we'll continue to do so.
Captain Coop, I know from the board has been talked about. I know your agency, Churchill Rescue Squad, is apparently in charge of that. Can you give us some details on what a reward looks like right now?
Yes, so there has been some people that have reached out to our agency, reached out to TBI and the Sheriff's Department about providing reward money for information leading up to the finding and or recovery of Summer Wells. At this time, I can confirm that is correct and that our agency is working to get this account set up. Once this information is available, our agency will provide a media release with this information on how the general public can also give money for this. But at the same point in time, guys, we're running on limited resources, and we're trying everything we can do that without interfering with the search for Summer Wells.
Leslie, at this point in the search and investigation, do you believe Summer Wells is still alive?
We hope so, but honestly, we just don't know. I mean, we're holding out hope, doing everything we can. Obviously, we typically would have found a child at this stage in the investigation, so honestly, we just don't know.
How many tips has the TBI received so far?
I don't have the exact number with me, but it's well over 300 at this point.
I know we've all spoken with the family and talked about sort of what led up to that missing incident here. Can you just sort of elaborate on what you guys know for sure happened before she went missing that Tuesday night?
We can't release any more than what we've already provided. We know that she was supposedly with family members outside of her home, was seen going into the home. When her mother went to check on her, she was not in the house.
Sheriff, I know you mentioned before that you haven't had to obtain any search warrants. Is that still the case?
My office has not obtained any search warrants, and I really don't know if the other agencies has. I've been coordinating with the captain here and the investigators. They're all working together, and we haven't briefed each other this afternoon.
What about lie detector tests? Anybody been given those?
I think she can address this.
Well, it's no secret that the TBI has a polygraph unit. We don't discuss specifics, but I can tell you that we use that as an investigative tool. In a situation like this, we're going to use every resource and tool available to us.
There's been billboards seen in Myrtle Beach. Are you guys aware of that, and has the search taken you guys even out of state?
We follow up on all leads that come in, even if they're out of state. We have received some tips from other states, but they didn't prove to be credible leads. We are aware of the billboards. That's not something the TBI coordinates, but we appreciate the effort.
Leslie, are cadaver dogs being used as part of the K-9 teams being brought in?
Absolutely, yes.
No law enforcement outside of the house today. Any reason for that?
There's no reason. We have had agents and officers to just touch base with the family on a daily basis. So they were there earlier. The family continues to cooperate at this time. If we have questions, they answer our questions. If we need them to come to the command post to clarify some information, they respond. So they've been very cooperative.
Speaking of the command post, we have noticed some larger FBI presence as well, including like an FBI biggest bullet card. Could you just elaborate a little bit on their role? What do they do?
They're just another resource available. Now, I would refer you to the FBI for specifics on what that team does, but they specialize in missing children cases. And again, we're using all resources available. They've been here since last weekend, and we were in communication with them before last weekend. So it's just another resource, and we're grateful for any help we can get.
Leslie, now on day 10, you guys feel like you have more information, better informed than you did on day 1, Tuesday night?
We don't. We still don't know where Summer is. We don't know what happened to her, and it's extremely frustrating. I can't tell you how heartbreaking it is. The sheriff has worked around the clock. His team's worked around the clock. The search crews, TBI agents, FBI agents, we're doing everything we can to find her, but to not have any more answers than we do at this stage, it's just heartbreaking.
Have you been able to narrow down the timeline any more than when she was investigated?
Not any more than what we originally released. We know that her family reported her missing. They called the sheriff's office around 6:30. Prior to that, it was early afternoon when she was last seen, and they searched for a little bit and then reported her missing.
How many hours would you say?
I don't have that information.
Question for Captain or Sheriff, what's the biggest obstacle standing in your way? Is it the heat? Is it just the fatigue? Is it the terrain? What do you think is the number one thing that's hurting you guys in this investigation?
To say hurt in this investigation on my aspect of things, nothing's hurting us. We encounter difficult situations so far, and we overcome those situations. From here on out, it is going to be providing our team the rest and assurance to make sure that we can provide more and more fresh body, fresh eyes to be able to come in and help search for Summer Wells.
As far as my office, it's been pretty hard because my office don't stop. We're still answering calls, still doing investigations that come in, and we're still running the jail, but I'm alternating the officers out. And like's been said, everyone, the command post's been there this week, everyone now is getting mentally and physically and emotionally just drained. And we're going to have to rehab and start back again, but we're not going to stop. We're going to find something.
Is there anything the community can do to help you guys at this there anything else that you guys need?
Actually, I think they've done everything they possibly could. We've even getting fresh home-cooked meals from churches and things brought in, and we have meals for all the officers and searchers and investigators, but enormous outpour of support shown by this community and actually people here in East Tennessee. We're very pleased.
Hey guys, thank you for coming out. I know a couple of you had questions asking why we are not having daily media briefings. The simple answer is we just haven't had any new information to provide. But just because we don't have a briefing doesn't mean that you can't reach out to us and ask any questions you may have. And of course, we are going to continue to post updates on Twitter and the TBI Facebook page. And feel free to check with us if you have any additional questions or need clarification. Thank you. Take care.
Today I'm going to show you how to do the Japanese natural Ozempic. No fluff. Let's get straight to it. Apple cider vinegar, coffee, turmeric, banana, and the
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We can't thank you enough for your continuing coverage and helping us get the word out about Summer. Before I turn it over to Captain Coop, I want to reiterate that there are two aspects of this investigation: the search and the investigation itself. You've heard a lot about the search because that's something we can elaborate on. What you haven't heard a lot about is what's happening outside of the search. Rest assured that agents and Hawkins County detectives are investigating this fully. All avenues are being explored. As of this afternoon, we've received approximately 85 tips. Agents and officers continue to follow up on each lead that comes in. At the same time, teams continue to search the area around Ben Hill Road for any sign of Summer. Captain Tim Coop is with the Churchill Rescue Squad. He's currently serving as the incident commander for ground search operations. He's going to talk about the status of the search and the specialized teams being utilized today. Captain.
Thank you, Leslie. Once again, I wish we could bringing you guys better news, but this time on the search side of operations, we have no further new news. The following methods are continuing to be used today to try to locate Summer. Ground crews comprised of over 100 trained professionals, aerial and aviation being completed by helicopter and fixed-wing aircraft, multiple canines, and also utilizing a specialized advanced mapping. The following new methods of search being utilized today are dive teams, hazardous and extreme terrain search teams, subject matter experts. We have deployed the state TAC and radio system to increase radio coverage for search.
Best way to make your mark this year? Don't be basic. Make them wonder, who's that girl? Make sure they hear you coming. And show them you got the sweetest style. Personalize your year for way less. Only at Five Below. Big fun, small prices.
Want to try terzepatide?
Captain Tim Coop is with the Churchill Rescue Squad. He's currently serving as the incident commander for ground search operations. He's going to talk about the status of the search and the specialized teams being utilized today. Captain.
Thank you, Leslie. Once again, I wish we could bringing you guys better news, but this time on the search side of operations, we have no further new news. The following methods are continuing to be used today to try to locate Summer. Ground crews comprised of over 100 trained professionals, aerial and aviation being completed by helicopter and fixed-wing aircraft, multiple canines, and also utilizing a specialized advanced mapping. The following new methods of search being utilized today are dive teams, hazardous and extreme terrain search teams, subject matter experts. We have deployed the state TAC and radio system to increase radio coverage for search and law enforcement efforts. USAR, the urban search and rescue teams, and also have deployed state and federal resources. At this time, we have a total of 41 agencies involved in being represented in the search for Summer whales. We have, at the completion of search efforts as of yesterday, the 17th, we have covered 688 acres of ground of extreme terrain. We're on the track to completing a total of 1,000 acres of land covered thoroughly by the completion of today's search efforts. Once again, as we have stated, we are still experiencing steep and dangerous terrain, which causes our teams to become exhausted very quick. We are and will continue to work with and alongside local, state, and federal search and law enforcement agencies to locate Summer whales, which is our ultimate mission to complete. Thank you. I'll now hand it over to Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
First of all, I want to thank y'all for coming. We are amazed at the amount of attention this has. A lot of it because of you all. but we are monitoring all social medias. We are just overwhelmed with the support of the community. I've been in law enforcement almost 44 years, and I've never seen an outpour of a community supporting any other cause, because they know it's all about finding Summer. We have a lot of people praying. We have a lot of people with boots on the ground, and just like Leslie said, we have 2 investigations going, and I can assure you that the investigation on part of law enforcement is extremely intense, just like the boots on the ground, and all the searching is going on, coordinated by Captain here. It's very, very hard. The volunteers are great, and we really don't need the general public. As the captain said, we got trained professionals in the woods. We know exactly where they are, how they're doing. They check on them routinely. We know how many's out there, who's out there, and we know when they come back. If the general public helps, then we will not know they're out there, and we could lose somebody else. We're still wanting people to call 1-800-TBI-FIND for information, any they have. And like I said yesterday, everything's on the table. We're trying to find exactly what happened to this young lady, and we're not going to stop until we find her.
Does anybody have any questions? We'll take a couple.
Yes, I have a question for Captain Coop. In speaking with dive teams, what are you guys actually doing with that? Is that searching ponds, creeks, lakes? Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what that search looks like? You're talking about ground material.
Yes. So our specialized teams, as I spoke on, the USAR or the dive teams, as both Sheriff Ray Lawson and Leslie spoke, we are pursuing every avenue. We're covering every ground cover. We're covering every aspect. At the end of it, if we don't cover it, we have to cover everything 100%. We're utilizing just the clear waterways, areas that we can't put our normal people into, the canines, stuff that aerial cannot see that well. We want to get in there, flip every rock, check every crevice, check every spot, just to make sure we don't miss a spot.
Are there a lot of streams back in this area or ponds?
Yes.
Can you give us, I know we can kind of see some of the lush vegetation and what's happening in the sky, but what's it like back there for you all?
Yes, there are numerous streams and creeks that run back out of the mountains on both sides of Beach Creek Road, along with Beach Creek itself. And there are lots of ponds, holding spots for livestock and other things that we feel are just as important as the rest of the search efforts.
Sheriff, I have a question for you as far as the investigation goes. I know you probably can't comment on a whole lot, but are you able to say if you executed any search warrants during this time?
Actually, we've done a tremendous amount of searches, and every one has been a consent search. The community has really stood out. They want to help. They want to give advice. They want to give information. And we've not had to obtain not one search warrant. And it due part that everybody in the community is wanting to find Summer.
And Leslie, I know you talk about credible tips. Can you kind of go into what is a credible tip?
If you have information about Summer, if you saw Summer the day she went missing, anything like that, you captured a photo on a trail camera or surveillance camera, that's a credible tip. Anything that would assist us. Something you see on social media that you know is somebody's opinion or just speculation, that's not a credible tip. In fact, that just bogs law enforcement down by having us, we have to go through and check that information and then mark it off. So please, credible tips, we welcome information, but just don't share speculation and rumors that you see on social media.
I have a question. I'm kind of reluctant to ask you, but is there a point in this search when you all will come to the conclusion that this is not a lost child anymore? This is possibly an abduction? Is there an amount of time or amount of territory?
Well, at this time, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. So currently, it's an active and ongoing investigation. We're not going to stop until we determine what happened to her, and we're just taking it one day at a time.
What has the interaction been like with the child's parents? I know that they've spoken with us on and off the record about interactions with law enforcement, maybe polygraph tests and so forth. Can you speak to us a little bit about the interaction with the parents and how they've helped or not helped with the investigation?
All I can say in that aspect is that they're currently cooperating. I cannot. I can just tell you that any information we have, any lead that comes in, we're going to follow up on that, and all avenues are being explored.
How are crews feeling right now? Again, back to Captain Coop and Sheriff Walton. How are they handling this right now, especially with we're kind of seeing an increase in temperature outside?
So, as stated before, the outpouring of community and businesses in this area, they are very limited on the time. Once they get certain areas of covered, they are being required to come back to the command post and staging area to rehab. Plenty of water, Powerade, Gatorade, food, protein bars, stuff to keep them hydrated and nourished during this whole entire time. And as one stated before I left, they are also 100% involved. They said, we will not stop.
As far as the law enforcement aspect, well, you know, we have the TBI system in my office and the FBI, and it's a partnership and a joint operation where if somebody comes in with a tip, it's whichever agent standing there, whichever officer, whether it's mine, one of the TBI or FBI agents, they jump on it. It doesn't matter who solves the case, whatever. We just want to find Summer. That's first and foremost.
One more question. I actually have one last question regarding something that the father told us yesterday. He was saying that she would never leave their hill where they live, and he highly believes that this is an abduction. Is there anything you can say that maybe could point to that? You mentioned something about the canines going along a trail that runs dead. So is there anything that you guys have seen that proves this, or is there any sign that that may be true?
We're exploring all avenues. So at this time, we can't confirm that. However, in the event that we do develop that information and confirm it was an abduction and have information to share, you will be the first to know. And we want to reassure the community that we will let them know immediately. That's information that we would want to get out to the public as quickly as possible. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here. We'll continue to update you as updates become available. Thank you.
Tonight, News Channel 11. A week ago tonight, News Channel 11 broke the news that crews were searching for a missing 5-year-old girl out of Hawkins County. Tonight, the search for Summer Wells enters its second week. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Investigators now say they will continue the Amber Alert search, but starting tomorrow, they'll have a focus on specific areas using specialized teams. That area in Hawkins County in and around the place that Summer Wells calls home. It's off Ben Hill Road. Also tonight, we learned Candace Bly, Summer Wells' mother, has passed a polygraph test that was administered today. That information coming from Summer's father, Don Wells. He talked with Ansley Daniel tonight and answered questions about his previous run-ins with the law.
This road here in Hawkins County was where Summer Wells was last seen 1 week ago. It's also where her father, Donald Wells, was arrested back in October over a domestic assault incident. That incident led to her mother filing an order of protection against him the following day. Tonight, Summer's father tells us that he and his wife have put that incident behind them, and all they want is for their daughter to come home safe.
That's all we can hope for, is for God to produce a miracle for all the Christian folks around here, because there's so many people praying.
Authorities say Summer Wells' parents have cooperated during the investigation, but according to Hawkins County court documents, this is not the first time officers were dispatched to the home on Ben Hill Road. They were there on October 14th for a domestic assault. Summer's mom, Candace Bly, told officers Donald Wells came home drunk and saw someone else in the house and believed that Bly was cheating on him.
I was in Utah, so she was thinking one thing and I was thinking another, but once we got to talk and figured things out, we smoothed it all out. I mean, we weren't on the same page, a lack of communication.
The following day, Bly filed an order of protection against Wells. In the order, she says Wells drinks and throws things and that he was mentally and physically abusive. She said, quote, "I am afraid for my children and myself."
Because we were fighting, of course, people are going to tell the police whatever to get their way. We worked it out. She's apologized to me.
4 days later, Bly asked for the charges to be dismissed. Wells pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence and turned the weapon over to the sheriff's office. The domestic assault charges and unlawful possession of a handgun were dismissed.
She's went to the district attorneys. She even talked to the judge and told him that she made a serious mistake, and that's the end of it. She didn't get hurt, and I never hurt nobody.
After a full week of searching and still no sign of his little girl, Wells cherishes the last time he saw her.
The night before, she asked me to hold her hand where she could twirl. She loved to do that, and that's the last time I really got to spend time with her.
As of now, no one has been named as a person of interest, and it's still unclear about what happened to the little girl. But her father and authorities say they aren't stopping until Summer comes home. In the Beach Creek community, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
So as this first week of searching wraps up tonight, let's get you caught up on the very latest. The TBI says in the last week they've received more than 220 tips, working with more than 80 agencies from 6 states. They've covered 3,000 acres, much of which has been rugged mountainous terrain. And tonight they're asking if anyone knows anything about where Summer is to call the TBI hotline at 1-800-TBI-FIND. You can email tips to tbi@tn.gov.
Shop Grainger. Talk shop for your shop. 1 million industrial grade products backed by 24/7 customer support. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As search efforts reach the 1-week mark for missing Hawkins County 5-year-old Summer Wells, newly obtained court documents show the child's father has had a troubled past. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Josh Smith. Good evening. Family members reported Summer missing around 6:30 p.m. 1 week ago tonight, June 15th. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered child alert a few hours later, and then the next day upgraded it to the most serious statewide Amber Alert.
TBI says in the last week they've received more than 220 tips, worked with more than 80 agencies from 6 states, and covered 3,000 acres, much of which has been rugged mountainous terrain. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel joins us now live from TBI's media post in Sullivan County.
Ansley, you got these court documents related to Summer's father, Donald Wells. What did they show you?
Josh and Sarah, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has told us that Summer's father, Donald Wells, does have a criminal past. Today, in some court documents obtained by News Channel 11, we learned that Summer's mother, Candace Bly, actually filed an order of protection against him. On October 14th of 2020, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to the Wells home on Ben Hill Road for a domestic assault situation. Bly told officers that Donald Wells came home drunk and saw someone else in the house and believed that Bly was cheating on him. Wells allegedly argued with the person and pushed Bly down, injuring her left knee. Wells was arrested and charged with domestic assault, possession of a handgun while under the influence, and unlawful possession of a weapon. Bly filed an order of protection against Wells the following day, writing, quote, "I am afraid of being hurt. He is abusive physically and mentally toward me. I am afraid for my children and myself." 4 days later, on the date of the hearing, Bly asked for those charges to be dismissed. On April 21st of 2021, Wells pled guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence and turned the weapon over to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. Those domestic assault charges and unlawful possession of a handgun were dismissed. At a press conference yesterday, law enforcement stressed that the family is cooperating with the investigation and that while an abduction has not been ruled out, there is no evidence to support it.
They're being cooperative. Of course, they're upset. So we continue to keep them updated and do whatever possible we can to find Summer.
7 days into the search, there is still no sign of the missing 5-year-old. We do have that full order of protection posted on WJHL.com. Live in the Beech Creek community, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
Ansley, thank you very much. Now, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation did not schedule a news briefing today, but they released this video an hour ago detailing their search efforts and showing the public what's happening. This is video, they say, of agents conducting a grid search in a field not far from Ben Hill Road. They say it's one of many methods being used to search for Summer tonight. And here one more time is a look at her photo. You can make a tip to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation by calling 1-800-TBI-FIND, or you can send an email to tipstotbi@tn.gov.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Well, Summer." She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went. So when her mother come in, she says, "Well, Summer." She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since.
This morning, Donald Wells spoke on camera for the first time since his daughter disappeared.
Please, that Summer be okay. And please come home.
He says it's unlikely Summer would leave the house on her own. Wells says the last time anyone in the family saw Summer was when she entered the house to play in the basement after gardening with her mother and grandmother. Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
Wells says law enforcement have covered leads on area sex offenders and drug addicts.
We're trying to think, beat her brains out. We've covered everything that we can think of already.
Investigators say they have followed up on 85 tips so far. Wells says he is overwhelmed by the massive numbers of personnel on site.
We just really appreciate everybody trying to help. We got now law enforcement and all these volunteers that are here. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
It was John Janko reporting those sentiments shared by Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, who said he has never seen a show of public support like this in his 4 decades of law enforcement.
Yeah, today the TBI and Sheriff Lawson said Summer's family does continue to cooperate in this ongoing search for the little girl. They say that at all points the family has continued to be assisting in this process.
Dozens of members of law enforcement are back searching the grounds of Hawkins County this afternoon in hopes of finding missing 5-year-old Summer Wells. Thanks for joining us here on News Channel 11 at noon. Crews are taking advantage of the winter weather to search areas that were too difficult to access earlier this year because of high grass and heavy foliage. Now, family members say Summer was last seen June 15th at their home in the Beech Creek community. And as of right now, the TBI's statewide Amber Alert remains active.
To me, like there are a few more officials here today searching than there were yesterday. However, we haven't gotten an exact head count just yet. But I spotted crews from as far away as Jefferson and Granger counties accompanying THP, the TBI, Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, as well as rescue squads from
I'm sorry that you guys feel that.
Channel 11 at 6. Here's a timeline of the events and what has happened. It's been nearly a year
The Amber Alert for Summer Wells. The 5-year-old Hawkins County girl is still active tonight. She has been missing now for 16 days. The very latest on the case tonight, Captain Tim Coop in
Tonight, Mark.
the search for missing
Alert for Summer Wells is getting national attention.
The case featured today and tomorrow on the Dr. Phil Show. Today, Summer's parents, Don Wells and Candace Bly, were seen being grilled by body language experts. Those experts picked apart their behavior and their words. The host, Dr. Phil, at one point said something doesn't add up. Both parents repeated they believe Summer was kidnapped from her Hawkins County home June 15th. No one's been charged. They say they have no idea who did it.
Now a grassroots group is trying another approach to finding the 5-year-old. Ansley Daniel reports.
After hundreds of flyers were passed out and put up, funds were raised to power this electronic billboard on Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport. It's about 25 minutes from Ben Hill Road on a regular pass-through for Beech Creek and Hawkins County, where Summer was reported missing the night of June 15th. That's Summer. It's a face our community hopes everyone recognizes by now. But for an out-of-towner or a passer-through, you might not.
In 4 months, nothing has changed.
Brad Allen started the billboard fundraiser.
There's no new information or anything, so we try to hand out flyers, we try to make awareness.
It started with businesses offering free printing so volunteers could do the groundwork effort of posting. Every road, everywhere. Camden Hillman and his wife Allison contributed to the billboard effort and partnered with Lamar Advertising.
It shows different views of what she's looked like, so no matter what her hair length, weight, height, hopefully it just brings something.
Anything. The realization for Cam and Allison was that after 4 months,
What it's supposed to be about here.
Summer Wells
Looking out for your neighbors.
could be anywhere.
We've been surprised at how many people in this area just don't know about it, or I guess maybe have forgotten about it. And it's kind of heartbreaking that people in this area are not aware.
It's a mishmash group of YouTube content creators, parents, grandparents, and just concerned people coming together to have Summer's information and face reach even further.
We have enough for 2 months, so that's 3,000, and it's on prepaid.
Photos of Summer, a link to her family's website, and a number to call now on display on Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport.
The company that is actually putting this up here said that 1 million people would end up seeing it through this. That's amazing.
One person out of a million.
In every crime, there's always somebody that knows something. So if we can get that one person to ride by here and say, hey, I've seen her. I know. Let me call. That's my hope and prayer right there.
The spot on this billboard is paid for through December the 19th, but those who have contributed are hoping that it doesn't even need to be up until then. In Kingsport, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
First tonight, the Amber Alert for Summer Wells is getting national attention.
The case featured today and tomorrow on the Dr. Phil Show. Today, Summer's parents, Don Wells and Candace Bly, were seen being grilled by body language experts. Those experts picked apart their behavior and their words. The host, Dr. Phil, at one point said something doesn't add up.